Solar Earth, and Andre Rodrigues is here in spirit. And this is in 5. And today we have a very special guest. All I've been given today is that he is a sound guy. So please welcome Dennis Collins.
Hi. That is a very broad description, isn't it?
Yes. Can you maybe narrow it down for me a little bit?
Okay, well, yeah, that might be fun in itself. So I suppose my journey with sound started from, as a kid, sort of trying to experiment with, I suppose, electrifying my acoustic guitar. That's sort of where it started off.
I'm sure your parents were so happy about that.
I pulled apart the stereo. It was pretty
cool. God.
So I've always had a fascination with electronics and sound. So, but also art as well. So, I suppose as I sort of went along, I had a hobby where I would go around recording bands just with mobile equipment. So a lot of my sound journey was centered around music. So when I was younger, I was also a musician, so play guitar and stuff. But I was always interested in experimental music. So a lot of my friends and stuff would do that sort of stuff. So whenever we'd have a jam, we'd always record it. So it would either be my gear or a mate's gear. So there's a bunch of us that sort of were obsessed with microphones and recording things.
That's so cool. So are you mostly like focused on the music, or have you also moved into film and other things?
I've moved into film and other things because when I sort of went back to uni as a mature age student, so I looked at doing sound production. That was a couple of years ago. And the initial aim was to continue doing the stuff with recording bands. So, and then I went, well, it's really hard to get into, and I didn't realise there's all this other stuff that I could look at. So we all sort of opened up with things like live sound and sound design, and all that sort of stuff, and obviously film sound. So, and I've always liked doing field recording as well. It's a bit of a hobby. So I generally always have a field recorder in my bag. So if I see or hear anything interesting, I usually pull it out. So,
That's so cool. So you've obviously gone back to uni, as you've said. What was that like going back as a mature age student? Because I went to uni and obviously had a few people in my class that had done the same thing. Yeah. Some fantastic, others looked very, very lost the entire time because obviously they're around a bunch of 20-year-olds whose main focus is, where is the bar? So what was that like?
It was an interesting journey because I was probably the oldest person in my class.
No.
But I don't know. I don't mind being around people of different ages and stuff. So
cool.
I've always sort of worked in disabilities also. I'm used to being around different people.
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
But yeah, in some ways, so I was looking at the possible industries I could get into, and a lot of them I felt like were more industries that would be suited to a younger person because there's more room for them to grow in those industries, like live sound, for example. Like I had a stint of doing that when I left uni, and it was just too hard. It was fun, but it was just too hard. Really long hours, split shifts, and all that sort of stuff. So it's hard to organise your life around that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was just interesting. So then I'd sort of, in class, you'd be mixing with young people, so you sort of get a lot of new ideas and stuff that I'd sort of go, I hadn't thought of things that way, or you sort of get exposed to, instead of just listening to your own bubble of music and interests, you sort of get exposed to more things, which I thought was really cool. But with the uni stuff, it was this whole academic world that I sort of went, I never really bothered to think that deeply about topics to do with sound, for example. So I'd only thought about it from the technical point of view.
So with the sound, did you sort of start at a very young age, or because obviously you've come back into it a bit later, but when you were younger you said you were mucking about?
Yeah, and that was sort of more of a I've always had a fascination with figuring out how things work, I suppose, mechanically and electronically. So it was sort of, I used to sort of jam that interest in with music. So I suppose through high school, there was friends that were learning like guitars and basses and stuff, so you'd sort of hang out with them, and then I had to work out how the guitars worked.
Please tell me you didn't take apart anyone's guitar.
I think the first guitar I was given, I was told if you can fix it, you can have it. So I had to pull it apart to get it to work. So it was that sort of thing. So,
damn, that's very impressive. Most do just stare at mine and be like, why won't you tune? But yeah, I sort of just play a little bit off key. It's fine. So you told me you pulled apart your stereo. How did that go down? Because I've got to imagine parents, when their kid is interested, well, I don't have to imagine, been there, when their kid's interested in the arts, it's always just like, oh, great.
I suppose from their point of view, it's just a matter of keeping it a bit safe. So, because, sometimes I would be a little bit reckless with what I pulled apart. But generally, they'd sort of encouraged me to pull apart things that couldn't be plugged in, for starters.
No dangerous
Nothing
electronics
too
that would have
dangerous.
set the house on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
So we
Or
didn't set the
myself,
house on
so,
fire?
No.
Okay, you're doing better than me already.
Yeah.
Hi guys, thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the little bell. And please, leave a comment below.
And now, a word from our sponsors.